Attorney General determined that certain aspects of unmasking needed to be reviewed separately as a support to John Durham's investigation. Unmasking inherently isn't wrong, but certainly the frequency, the motivation, and the reasoning behind unmasking can be problematic.
Well, the Department of Justice taking a major step in the fallout of the Michael Flynn case, launching a review into the practice of unmasking before and after the 2016 election. Here to weigh in, Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett. Greg, we knew that John Durham was looking into how come so many people were, how many people in the Obama administration were unmasked. He was looking into that, but at the last minute now, it sounds like he's called in this U.S. Attorney for West Texas, John Bash. What will John Bash look at that Mr. Durham wasn't looking at?
He'll look at abuse of power and potential crimes. Look, you have to have a legitimate stated reason of national security to unmask somebody. Look at the list of people during that brief transition period making unmasking requests of Michael Flynn. So many of them were partisan officials who had no business snooping and seeking to unmask the successors, the incoming Trump administration. Yes, there were some intel officials there, and they have to have a legitimate reason. So I think what Bash is going to be digging into is, let's see the unmasking requests and reports. Were they legitimate reasons? And what are people in the Treasury Department, ambassadors, indeed Obama's chief of staff, and Joe Biden doing, making unmasking requests and snooping on the incoming administration? Those answers need to be given. And frankly, how many other people were victimized by illegitimate spying and unmasking requests?
Well, let's see if Mr. Bash is able to figure that all out. Greg, you had an interview with John Dowd, who was the president's attorney during the Mueller debacle, and he accuses Robert Mueller of a monstrous lie, and more than that. In your interview with him, he said it looked like Mueller knew that there was no there, but he was still trying to get an interview with the president to prove some sort of obstruction or set a perjury trap.
Exactly what Comey did to Michael Flynn. And in fact, John Dowd, in my extensive interview with him on Tuesday, drew the same comparison. He was led to believe it was all about collusion. So Dowd voluntarily produced 35 witnesses, more than 1 million pages of documents. And finally, in a pivotal meeting, March 5th, 2018, Mueller confesses to Dowd, yeah, there's no collusion here. Now, remember, that's a year before Mueller produces his report. Why didn't he tell the American people that? At that meeting, Mueller says, well, I want to look at obstruction of justice. I'm demanding to interview the president. That's when Dowd realized he'd been misled and lied to. He called it a monstrous lie, a scheme to defraud. It culminates in an angry confrontation, which I recite verbatim in my column, in which Dowd is pounding his fist on the table and yelling at Mueller that he doesn't know the law and he doesn't know the facts.
And ultimately, he did not allow the president to submit for an in-person interview, and here we are now. All right. Read Greg's column at foxnews.com. Greg Jarrett, thank you very much for getting up with us today.
Sure, Steve.